This is your news source evening bulletin for today, Friday, the 31st day of January in the year 2020. I'm Gordon Mosley, thanking you for joining us. Here is what we're tracking tonight. In wake of the World Health Organization's decision to declare the coronavirus a World Health Emergency, Guyana has made a decision to restrict and closely monitor travel between Guyana and China, where the virus originated. In a statement, the Ministry of Health announced that persons in China who plan to travel to Guyana should defer those plans until further notice, as they are likely to be denied entry. Additionally, those in Guyana who plan to travel to China are being advised to postpone those plans. The statement said persons arriving in Guyana from China will be subject to quarantine protocols and may be quarantined in a health facility or at home depending on the outcome of the risk assessment. And all recent travelers from China after January 1 already in Guyana are being asked to contact their nearest health center or a hospital urgently and to remain at home for 14 days after the date of arrival. The Health Ministry said if flu-like symptoms arise within 14 days after return to Guyana from China or another highly affected country, those persons are asked to call the hotline on 227-8683. That's 227-8683, extension 215. Meanwhile, the Foreign Affairs Ministry also announced that their 2 Guyanese students were on scholarship in the Wuhan area where the virus started. Efforts are being made to get them home to Guyana.
We closed our embassy in China. We are trying to contain. We have students there. We tell them to stay in one place until to follow, in fact, the lead that the Chinese would have told them. They were asked to to stay where they are, and of course, they are well equipped in terms of medical facilities and so forth. So I hope they will follow the advisory given in China. But I know that there are persons and parents who are a little agitated and would like the children to come home. But in due time, that will be done. I just want them to be patient. Of course, we want no casualty. So far, we haven't gotten any suspicious cases in Guyana. And we have been working with interagencies to ensure that we do preventative measures, wear a mask in crowded places if you have a cough, ensure that you sanitize, make sure your hands are cleaned, and you touch, because it's airborne. And so you have to be very careful where you touch and put your hands to your mouth, and so basically personal protective equipment.
China has now recorded over 10,000 cases of the coronavirus, with more than 150 deaths. Although Guyana is considered at low risk, the screening of passengers at all ports of entry started last weekend. The coronavirus is similar to the virus that causes the common cold, and many of its symptoms are flu-like. While the death rate associated with the virus is low at around 2%, the infection rate has been termed worrying by the World Health Organization. More news coming up in a moment.
Tired of long lines? Register with MyGTT at mygtt.co.gy. That's mygtt.co.gy to view and pay your bills from anywhere. Enter to win an Amazon gift card worth $25 or a bounty voucher worth 5,000 Guyana dollars when you sign up today. GTT, do more.
Fuel it up and drive, Super 95. Tune up, fuel it up and drive, Super 95. Tune up. Protect your fuel system, boy. High mileage and performance, boy.
Guyana Super 95 gasoline gives you more reasons to drive and is available at 56 service stations nationwide. For affordable price, high performance, and high mileage, choose Guyana's Super 95 gasoline.
Fuel it up and drive.
All across our nation, Guyana, we see it in your lives. The future growing even stronger. GBTI, all eyes on Guyana skies as the voices of our people rise again. GBTI, Guyana's pride is in your eyes. GBTI, we see Guyana through your eyes.
Welcome back. And now to the world of politics. The Ethnic Relations Commission is calling on the political leaders to urge their supporters to immediately stop and reject any inclination by their supporters to taunt, confront, and intimidate others of opposing sides. The ERC said it is engaging political leaders on the developments and its proposed code of conduct. The Ethnic Relations Commission in its statement said it condemns the unacceptable conduct of purported supporters of contesting political parties over the past few days, which have resulted in heated confrontations in different parts of the country, including Wisma Linden and Nonpareil on the east coast of Demerara. Both the APNU-AFC and the PPP have complained about their campaigns being confronted by supporters of the other side during campaign events. The Ethnic Relations Commission said it would like to remind the public that under the laws of Guyana, campaigning by political parties during the elections period is allowed, but it wants citizens and supporters to reject outright all attempts at provocation and instead concentrate on issues being put forward by the candidates. The Ethnic Relations Commission noted that it will continue to monitor the political campaigns with vigilance and play its role in promoting harmony, good relations, and peace in the society. On the industrial front now, as the Rusal Bauxite Company prepares to meet with government officials on Monday over the current industrial relations at the company, the head of the Guyana Revenue Authority, Commissioner General Godfrey Stacia, today revealed that the Rusal Company had threatened to shut down its operations over an audit by the Guyana Revenue Authority of its operations.
People might claim it's an ongoing issue. As far any time people, you go, the taxpayer, he believes he's being targeted. Matter of fact, when I sent my guys down there to begin the audit, they threatened them and told them that if they don't stop the audit, they're going to close down the company. I could say something without fear. Right?
When was this?
I got to get my phone, but I finished with that. Emanating from certain parts of the audit, we decided, you know what, because we're under discussions all the time with the lawyers and everybody. We said, look, until these things are reconciled, pay what you say you should have owed. The mere fact that they could agree that they could pay what they had owed shows that somewhere along the line they recognized that they were not compliant.
The Rusal Company last week laid off 140 workers, claiming that there was a fuel shortage at the company. That move led to the laid-off workers protesting by blocking the Berbice River. The company, in response to that, laid off most of the remaining workers. Today, the Guyana Revenue Authority boss dismissed reports that the GRA did not grant the company its concessions for fuel imports. He said the company needed to pay and uplift the concession, but never moved in that direction.
As to the issue of whether we held back a letter or not, they came in and said they were going to pay at a particular time. Right. So you had the letter waiting on them, the exemption letter waiting on them, but they didn't bring in the check. Right. As soon as they're paid, you release it. Nothing else.
The union representing the workers has called on the government to take a firm stand on behalf of the Guyanese workers. Rusal officials are set to meet on Monday with Minister of Social Protection, Amna Ali. While the Ministry of Foreign Affairs today hosted a diplomatic fair in observance of Guyana's 50th Republic anniversary. The event was hosted at Durban Park and brought together the various diplomatic missions and international agencies in Guyana. It also highlighted the work of the various Foreign Service officers attached to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. During the feature address at the opening, Foreign Secretary Carl Greenidge said the occasion was a momentous one as Guyana prepares to celebrate its 50th Republic anniversary.
In 23 days' time, Guyana will celebrate a milestone of great importance in our young nation's history, our 50th Republic anniversary. The importance of our nation becoming a republic cannot be overstated and is certainly worthy of celebration. That republican status bestows upon a nation and its people great power, but also great responsibility.
One of the largest exhibitors at the event, the United Nations, highlighted the work that its agencies are currently engaged in Guyana and noted that a large part of its work focuses on the UN Sustainable Development Goals. The resident coordinator for the UN in Guyana, Mikiko Tanaka, told News Source that the United Nations is proud of its work in Guyana.
Well, with the UN agencies, we have about 10 agencies working in Guyana, and so they are displaying the activities, the messages of the programs that they run. This year is the 50th anniversary of the Republic for Guyana, but also it's the 75th anniversary for the United Nations. So it's an important year for both Guyana and for the United Nations. For the UN, really, the Sustainable Development Goals is our mission. And, there's still a lot of work to be done to eradicate poverty, to achieve gender equality, to have quality education and health for everybody, the young people to have decent work opportunities, and also for, the environment to also sustain, and for that a lot of climate action is needed.
Following a very extravagant cultural display that featured performances from students, local agencies, and various countries, including Mexico, Venezuela, and China, persons were invited to view the exhibits. U.S. Ambassador to Guyana, Sarah Ann Lynch, visited the other exhibits and noted that the U.S. Embassy was delighted to participate in the diplomatic fair. She said her embassy was displaying some of its work, especially in the area of scholarships.
I think this is a great effort, and it's really fun to see people display their culture, including their food and some artifacts sometimes from their countries, and what everybody's doing here in Guyana. I think that's the biggest effort for all the diplomats here, is to, where requested, assist the Guyanese government, assist the people of Guyana, and I think we're all just thrilled to be here.
The diplomatic fair also featured a number of local entertainers. Turning now to the aviation sector, 2 months after being granted approval, the rebranded Dynamic Airways is set to return to the Guyana market under its new Eastern Airlines name. The company today announced that it will begin its service to Guyana on the 5th of March. In a statement, the company said it will be offering several affordable options for commercial travel between New York's JFK Airport and the Guyana's Chetty Jagan Airport. The airline said its goal is to bring back the nostalgic travel experience. In preparation for its arrival, the airline will host a special sales and marketing session on Monday at the Marriott Hotel. As part of its scheduled service to the Guyana market, the US-based carrier was ordered by the government to lodge $450,000 with the government before it begins operations. Of that amount, $250,000 will be lodged directly with the government, while the remaining $200,000 will be lodged with the Guyana Revenue Authority. Scheduled carriers were not previously required to lodge a bond before the startup of operations, but the government has said that it wants to ensure better safeguards are in place for Guyanese passengers, just in case an airline decides to discontinue its service. In the courts, 1 week after a Charlotte Street mother of two succumbed to stab wounds to her chest, the woman fingered in that stabbing has been charged for murder. 23-year-old Shalisa Ellis stood before a city magistrate this morning and was not required to enter a plea to the entitled murder charge committed on Latoya Haywood. The two women were attending a Boxing Day event in Leopold Street when they got into a confrontation, and the accused reportedly armed herself with a knife and stabbed Haywood to the chest. At first, Haywood did not take the injury seriously, but later collapsed and was taken to a hospital, where she remained in an unconscious state until the time of her passing last week. The accused was unrepresented in court today, and she was remanded to jail on the murder charge. She will make her next court appearance in the new month.
The voting process. Once you have been identified as the elector you claim to be, you would be given a ballot paper that is stamped at the back, top and bottom halves in your presence. On the ballot paper, provision is made for you to vote twice. Once at the top section where you vote for the party of your choice in the general election, and once at the bottom section where you vote for the party of your choice in the regional election. Make your mark in the box provided on the right of your choice. After you have voted, fold the ballot paper as shown by the election official. Dip the first joint of your right index finger in the ink provided and place the ballot paper in the ballot box that is there for this purpose. You would then have to peacefully depart the polling station. For more information, contact GCOM on 225-02-7729, 223-9653, email pro@gcom.org.gy, or visit GCOM's website at www.gcom.org.gy.
You're out of a job, right?
I am.
How long have you been in construction? What's your experience? Show me how hard you can work. That's it? We'll call you. Sir, I'll be tempted to touch you if you don't step back. Sir, kindly remove from the premises. Sir, you're making me hot. Please remove from the premises. Come on, sir, give me some more. What is that? Give me more. I want more. I want to see that body. You're too sexy for this job. Sir, this job requires muscle power. What do you have? Flexibility. This job requires that you work long hours, hard hours.
Sign me up, I come for this work. Sign me up, I come for it. Boss lady, I come for this work. Sign me up, I come.
We are legions of men standing strong, but never too proud to stoop and help someone. We must send a clear signal to all. Do right. Walk in upright ways, knowing that's what being a man is all about. And ever aware that things will only get worse when good men do nothing. Stand strong. Be the one to live right.
Across the region right now, a U.S. law firm that was hired for $12.5 million by a top ally of Nicolas Maduro has decided to quickly dump the controversial Venezuelan client amid a major outcry by critics who accused it of carrying water for a socialist dictator. The Associated Press reported that Foley and Lardner had agreed to represent Maduro's Inspector General, Rinaldo Munoz. Filings with the Justice Department showed Foley and Lardner, which has offices in Washington, in turn paid $2 million to hire influential lobbyist Robert Stark to help its client ease U.S. sanctions on Maduro's government and engage the Trump administration in direct talks. Republican Senator for Florida Rick Scott immediately decried the move, saying in a letter to the firm that he would urge his Senate colleagues to follow his lead and boycott the firm until it cut ties with a dangerous dictator. In neighboring Trinidad and Tobago, from Juve morning on February 24 to the end of last lap on February 25, glass bottles on the road will be banned in Trinidad and Tobago for Carnival. Following a stakeholder meeting, the Minister of National Security, Stuart Young, made the announcement. He said the government hopes to implement the ban every Carnival. The minister noted that the ban will not affect vendors who sell alcohol, but those vendors are being asked to pour those drinks into cups before serving patrons, and this applies to beer and mixed drinks. In considering environmental impacts, he implored vendors to use biodegradable paper cups instead of plastic alternatives. Teaming the initiative Clean Scene, Safe Scene, the minister said the initiative will help to improve the carnival experience in more ways than one in Trinidad and Tobago. And finally tonight, international news. The number of coronavirus cases worldwide has surpassed that of the SARS epidemic, which spread to more than 24 countries back in 2003. There were around 8,100 cases of SARS, which is the severe acute respiratory syndrome, reported during the 8-month outbreak. But nearly 10,000 cases of the new virus have been confirmed, most in China since it emerged in December. More than 100 cases have been reported outside China in 22 countries. The number of deaths so far stands at over 200, all in China. In total, 774 people were killed by SARS. And that's your News Source Evening Bulletin for tonight. I'm Gordon Mosley reporting.